Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Ryden. When is the last time you stepped out of your house on the way to work or on the way to school or even on the way to the store and stopped to look around you? Just kind of take in the beauty of your surroundings and wonder of nature. In this fast-paced world, that doesn't seem to be much time for that. But our guest, Laura Boronski, thinks otherwise, and she's written a lovely tale for children and their parents who might get something out of it too. It's called Sleepy Mountain. Laura joining us today from Conway, South Carolina. Where's that?
It's near Myrtle Beach, a little farther inland from Myrtle Beach.
Okay,
It's a nice area.
good. I see that the illustrations behind you are illustrations that come from your book, correct?
Yes.
Well done. Tell us a little bit about Sleepy Mountain and what inspired you to write it.
Well, I've always loved nature. And as someone who used to teach young children for years, I tend to see things through their eyes at times. And I was just driving around up in the mountains, in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina, beautiful place. And I was driving along the road and I saw this mountain with this beautiful mist just under the tip of it. And I said out loud, "Hello, Sleepy Mountain," because he just looked so cute. And then on the way home, I wrote the whole story because I could just picture what was going on in the life of this giant sleepy mountain and all the animals under him in the woods. And that's how the story came to be. I'm hoping it will lead children to be curious again about what's around them. And of course, like you said, their parents too.
Yeah. Is there a moral to be found in these stories?
I think the moral is to slow down and just appreciate what's around us because kids don't know how to do that anymore. They have such a busy, nonstop life, and their parents too are always running. And I think everyone needs to just stop and decompress. And like you said, look around them and find the beauty. There's so much peace in that. Almost like God knew what he was doing and giving us this beautiful
Yeah.
world. And, you
Go
know,
figure. Go
we're
figure.
supposed to appreciate it and love it and
Yeah.
find peace in it. So, yeah.
You might want to take some of your own advice. You are one busy woman. Good grief. You're one of 13 children and
Yes.
you're the mother of eight. You have been homeschooling your kids for
Mm,
26 years.
yes. A
How,
wild ride indeed.
how has homeschooling changed over the years?
Actually, it's become so much easier. When I started with my children, it was still underground.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have huge groups and
Yeah.
all kinds of things available to us. I mean, now it is made so much simpler because, people realize that it's a very good idea.
Mhm.
So you have all kinds of things available to you now that we did not have back then. So it's come a long way.
Yeah,
And
you
I
have
think people are seeing how good it is
yeah,
for children's development. So
field trips with other homeschooling families and
yes,
that kind of thing.
yes. When we lived in New York, we were part of a very large homeschooling community, and we would do all kinds of things together. And then we moved down here. We found some other ones and started doing things that way. So, there's always community, but kids learn to interact with all ages
Hmm.
and, including adults, which I think is one of the biggest gifts of it.
No,
And they have freedom to do things like we can travel when we want. We can go up to the
exactly.
mountains when we want, be in nature when we want. And that's all part of school.
Mhm.
So everything's a lesson.
You are one, like I say, very busy, a poet, songwriter, motivational speaker. How in the world do you fit all that into the time that God has allowed you to have?
He just directs me and what I'm supposed to do next. And I'm like, okay, we're doing that today. And it all works out. I don't know how, but it does. And it's such a blessing.
Well,
If I
you,
can reach people and bring a little bit of joy into their life and a little bit of peace, an oasis in the midst of chaos, that's, I think, what I'm called to do.
well,
So
you signed on to this Zoom interview early, and I thought, oh, we're going to get an early start. But I figured then when I saw your name up there, I pictured you logging in and then going off and doing something else because you were a very busy person, and then you would come back at the allotted
that's
time and we would get going.
precisely that's precisely what I did.
I figured as much. Okay, so tell me about your day today.
My day today,
What time did you get
um,
up?
got up at 6
Okay.
and took a nice long walk with my dogs, fed the horses, had my coffee and relaxed a bit, got my recipes together for what I'm cooking this afternoon. We have a gentleman right now on the roof trimming back some branches that are in the way of my chimney. So I was managing that, and then trying to get ready for this and get my daughter sent off to the library where she's doing her work today. And now I'm here with you.
And then you're
It's
going
all
to a women or a shelter of some sort after
Yes, when
this?
I'm done with you, I'm going to go into the kitchen and prepare some meals. I do it every other week for a local women's shelter, a homeless shelter for women. People do not understand what the needs are of the homeless in our communities, and just love and understanding is the biggest thing that they need to, fix what's messed up in their lives and be able to become active parts of their communities again. So that's something that's very dear to my heart. I love working with the homeless in our area.
In all the things that you do you see that as a source of other material to write about?
Oh, always. I have written articles for different publications about my work with the homeless.
Mhm.
I like to bring awareness to the fact that these are human beings who have ended up in situations that none of us would wish on anyone, and bring back the humanity of them, and hopefully reaching more people to help in ways that are meaningful.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not just throwing money at something,
Right, right.
which a lot of people feel good about, but it's really, it changes your life if you actually physically go and do something.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Um, you may have already answered this, but what do you kind of hope that parents will get out of this book besides getting their kids to fall asleep at night?
I'm hoping what they'll
Which is
get
a
out of
plus, of
it.
course.
Well, yes, but I'm just hoping what they'll get out of it is to slow down for a minute. When I wrote this story, it was just intended to be a break from the craziness of a day, to just sink into nature for a little while and feel how peaceful it is, even if they are in the middle of a city or even if they do have crazy schedules. I think I just wanted this to be a little oasis in the middle of what can be madness sometimes in our regular life schedules. So
And I should also mention that you've got a blog on your website, lauraboronski.com,
Mhm.
and you've written in there about, there was one that was the deep end. Tell us about that.
Oh, the deep end. Yes. I wrote that. I just like to write my little musings now and then in my blog. But
Yeah.
when I vacuum the pool, I like to start in the deep end because it takes longer. It's just a lot harder, and I work my way around,
Yeah.
and then the shallow end's easy, and you finish up and you're done. And one day I was pondering that, and I thought, we really, in life and when we're working on ourselves, we have to start in the deep end. We have to go deep with what our deep rooted issues might be. I do a lot of work with people who are getting over past trauma, so a lot of that leans into the work we have to do on ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves. And a lot of times that requires, working on the deep end first, and don't just concentrate on the easy, shallow stuff. Sometimes we have to do the hard work. And I love helping people do that so they can become their authentic selves without dragging all kinds of baggage along with them.
Yeah.
So that's what that one was all about. Yeah.
Now getting back to the illustrations on the back there,
Mhm.
eh, I can't remember now if we talked about that before our interview started or after, but how you worked with Monique Moore, the illustrator.
Yes,
How did
yes.
that work?
So, my two oldest daughters, we homeschooled all the way up until their last year of high school. And then they went to a college prep school for a year out
Mhm.
here, the Academy for Art, Science, and Technology. And that's where they met Monique. And she's a wonderful young woman. And that's how I've known her all these years, because she went to school with my kids. But when I was looking for an artist, and none of my children were available, I reached out to Monique, and I was thrilled that she was willing to do it, because she has become quite an accomplished artist over the years, and she has three little kids. And it was just very nice to work together with another mom and
Mhm.
encourage her in her artwork. This was her first illustration for a book that she's done.
Hmm.
So it was a neat experience for her too. So I'm looking forward to working with her again on the next one.
And how did you work together? How did you present it that she would catch your vision?
At first, I just called her up and talked to her on the phone, described the book to her, described what I was imagining. And then she right away took a picture of a sketch sent it to me. We would go back and forth with, you know what, that's almost it, but please soften this or make this, these are the colors
Mhm.
I'm thinking of. And once she locked in, she nailed it. She did the first, I think the cover picture that's behind me.
Mhm.
That was the first one where she just nailed it. I'm like, okay, this is the feeling I want for the whole book. If we can just stay with this. And she did a fantastic job.
Yeah. What a
So
great,
that's why I'm so happy to have all the originals. I
yeah.
like putting them up because
What a,
they came out so nice.
what a great opportunity for you at your stage of life to be able to kind of come alongside somebody like that who's also a young mom.
Exactly. I like to encourage these young moms to do what they're passionate about. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Now
a beautiful thing.
you've got another work that's aimed at adults, A Hitchhiker's Guide Through Gehenna. Tell us a little bit about that. It's based on Esther
Yes.
4:14.
Right. Speaking of the deep end,
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide Through Gehenna is a book that God prompted me to write based on my story. So things that I had been through as a child, struggles, all kinds of, I went through a lot of stuff. And then as a young adult, raising my children, we came upon a lot of difficulties. There was one period where we were actually without a place to live with 5 little kids, which probably is part of my love for the homeless. By the grace of God, we made it through all of that. I was able through my music, the songs that he would give me. I can share those with people to bring them healing and show them that there's always going to be a finish line. You will get through this, and that's what A Hitchhiker's Guide Through Gehenna allowed me to tell my story in a way that helps other people, number one, admit what they've been through so that the healing work can start. And number two, see the victory that's available if they make it through. So the feedback I'm getting from that book from across the country has been wonderful. One in particular, if I can share it with you really quickly, was
Absolutely.
a 93-year-old woman who got my number through someone, called me on the phone in tears. She said for the first time in her life, she was able to forgive the people that hurt her in her childhood, and she could finally breathe.
Mhm.
Like 93 years old.
Wow.
It breaks my heart that people carry that trauma with them their
Yeah.
whole lives. So if that was the one reason I wrote that book, then that's wonderful.
Yeah. And if they could just
I'm
understand,
hoping that, yeah. No, I'm
if they,
sorry, what were you going to say?
no, I'm saying if they could just understand that forgiving somebody else and showing them grace just relieves a burden off of you. Because the people who
Exactly.
have hurt
A,
you
a
don't
wonderful person, I
necessarily.
write about this in the book, a wonderful retired priest actually taught me, Laura, you can forgive someone without inviting them over for dinner. You
Right.
can even forgive someone and turn the other way if you see them in public. But he
Mhm.
said, once you forgive them, you give all that mess back to them and you are no longer carrying it with you. And I
Yeah.
thought that was the most beautiful lesson. And once I could do that, I was able to heal. And then, of course, I was on fire wanting to help other people
Right.
heal. So that's what it's all about, right?
And how does the passage Esther 4:14 play into that
Oh,
for
I,
such a
I
time
jotted
as
that
this?
down on the front. Yes, because it's like you were born for where you are right now.
Mhm.
Perhaps you were born for times such as these. So
Right.
I love reminding people of that, young couples who are weary of the idea of, well, maybe we don't want to bring children into this world. I'm
Mm.
like, why wouldn't you want to bring children into this world? They might be the light in the darkness.
Mm.
We don't know God's plan,
No,
right?
it's a good point.
So yes, we can't get in the way of that. So I mean, having raised a whole bunch of children, I can tell you it's been a wonderful, beautiful thing. I mean, I would do all of it again in a heartbeat.
Well, that's the Hitchhiker's Guide Through Gehenna, but Sleepy Mountain is what we're talking about, and we want you all to get it. So it's available on Amazon. It's also available on lauraboronski.com. And
Mhm.
I would encourage people to go ahead and visit that website because there's a lot of other stuff on there, the blog and the gallery, and there's a way to contact Laura as well. So um, that's it. The Sleepy Mountain. That's it, Laura. Thank you so much for joining us today. Anything else you want
And
to add?
thank you. No, thank you so much, Paul. I hope you have a blessed day.
Oh, you as well. And thank you, folks, for spending a few minutes with us on the Global Book Network. I'm Paul Ryden. We'll see you next time.